Okay, well, I'm really pleased to be joined by Paul Woodham of the STRI. Paul, firstly, really warm welcome to yourself and all of your colleagues at the STRI to the GCMA. We're absolutely delighted to have you on board as one of our new strategic partners, and really appreciative of your support and getting involved with us here at the association. So thanks for joining our network.
Thank you very much, and it's pleasure to be part of the GCMA support network and family, so to speak. So we've supported in different ways in the past, but we felt the time is absolutely right with so many challenges now facing your members. So we hope to be provoke some thought leadership and support, and head in the right direction.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and we've already had some really productive discussions, and I know you've already been attending some of our regional meetings, Paul, as well, and with your team, and I know the presentations and the input that you've been able to provide already has been really gratefully received. So there's been some great insights there, and looking forward to seeing that continue. So tell me, you've been working with the GCMA sort of on and off, as you say, for a number of years, but why have you always found our network particularly useful to be involved in, and why the strategic partnership for yourselves?
Yes, several years now, Tom, in various regional events and some national events as well, and it's always good to network with the managers. You're at the coalface. Understanding the pressures of the financial challenge of certainly in the past few years have been so strange, in a strange quirk of fate. Golf is in a strong point, and clubs are looking to develop and address the issues which they've been trying to sort of work towards in many years. Some legislative change issues, and then climate change issues as well. So I think to on board with the GCMA, we've built, people know STRI for the agronomy ecology work of the past. We've actually got a much stronger and much more broader network around us of different expertise in different fields, very much in terms of the environmental and sustainability fields as well. So we've got a much broader spectrum of services and support that can provide solutions. So that opportunity to yourselves, your managers as decision makers or negotiators, dealing with the club owners and the challenges of committees, if we can bring some sort of element of, right, okay, well, this is where you are now, this is where you need to get to, this is how you're going to get there, when do you arrive, and wrap up the sort of the triangle sustainability between the financial element as well, how we're sort of going to get sort of practical, current and relevant legislative solutions to the table. So there are many challenges ahead, and but the more that we can get feedback, honest feedback from your members, the more that we can sort of shape and lead, I think, moving forward.
No, that's great to hear, and I think one thing we can always promise you from our members, Paul, is honest feedback.
There's been some great feedback at the events we've attended so far, so it's always good.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely it is. Well, listen, I mean, certainly getting to know yourself and your colleagues in the company a little bit more over the last couple of months as we've been building the relationship. I've really opened my eyes to how much the STRI can actually offer a golf club, and that whole piece, the research, the design, the construction and management of a golf course. So it's a really wide berth of service offerings. Just maybe give us a couple of examples, perhaps, of the types of projects that you've worked on recently, and what you're seeing at golf clubs and how they're planning to move forward.
Well, let's start with the day-to-day stuff that we do, Tom, with the, as I say, people best know us from the agronomy work that we do, and whether that's initial course audits or reviews. And over recent years, quite some years now, we've brought an objective measure of performance. Again, that's sort of, where are you, where you're going to get to, when you're going to arrive. So we can provide that benchmark, and club managers have found that very useful. So that's on the same day that somebody's saying that the course is better than it's ever been before, the course it's never been so poor, the greens are fast, they're slow, they're hard.
Yeah.
We know members' feedback is going to be inconsistent at best, largely inaccurate at times. It's so important that we listen to it. But if we can provide that data sort of benchmark to support the decision-making process, never lead by data. It's got to be, it is an art as well, and as well as a science. But if it can be there to quantify how much have you improved or you haven't improved, that was money well spent. No, it wasn't. So on a day-to-day basis, that's very much what we do in the agronomy field, with the reviews that we do, whether it's visiting once a year, twice a year, or more than that. But where we're growing, the types of projects, because of the team now around STRI group, now whether that's in course design, planning, architecture, broader aspects of ecology, sustainable drainage, and sustainable water management or water security, something we'll touch on in a moment. But because of those fields now, and the pressures of the climate change, the legislative change, we've entering new bigger projects. In recent times, we've worked on some green complex developments, largely driven, I guess, Tom, by the increase of play and the climate change. We're finding certainly in parkland environments, greens which are too small, can't cope with the drainage issues, or they're moved because of safety boundaries. So that the holes have got to be realigned, or even in the coastal environment, manage realignment of the coast. So there's projects now to rebuild, but think about how we're rebuilding that in terms of the resources at STRI, with our own laboratories, the design mixes to get the profiles absolutely right. The way that they're built, can it cope with the expected volume of play? Because we're seeing increased volumes of play, which is a good thing.
Yes.
But also a bad thing in terms of we're just running out of space on tees, but in greens. So green complex developments, tee developments, realignment developments. But then wider, there are the two golf courses from scratch, which we'll say scratch, but where it's complete new 9 holes, or the old course is just completely upgraded. So those have been a little bit more sort of design and build. So within STRI group, with our contractor partners at Carrick Sports, gives us an opportunity to work with clients, whether that be on the specification, design, or now do you want to take it to a design and build, or bring in other contractor or partners, through tender bid opportunities. So there are different scopes to how we can use that. There are short gain academy. Everybody's looking at practice ground developments, practice area developments. So some interesting ones where we're looking at to encapsulate the ecological value of the land around a short game academy. It's not necessarily a refined playing surface area of the golf course. So could there be enhancements and to the sort of wildlife, which can help get that project through planning development? They might look at sort of biodiversity net gains in other areas around. So if we can bring that into the concept of how these things are built. But most importantly, I think where we see the greatest growth is in water security.
Yes.
You won't need me to tell you, I'm sure your members are continually asking, depending on your regions in a country, but you're dealing with too much water or not enough of it. Quite often both, depending on the season. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The legislation around drainage and how we do drainage is massively changed. We can't go about things how we once did. Just going into ditches has to be thought about from a SUDS, sustainable urban drainage scheme design, to protect your on-site and off-site water management, off-site particularly, where neighboring properties, road networks are already overwhelmed. So water on the golf course, it could potentially be contributing to issues off it, but then potentially it could become your savior as well by capturing that water and using it for a more sustainable long-term water supply instead of mains water or summer extraction from borehole.
Sure. And
So
that's
the projects are sort of left and right and all over the place.
yeah, I mean the variety there that you're able to offer, Paul, and the types of services, whether it's a full project management solution or something quite specific around agronomy, or as you say, water usage. I remember we had a really interesting discussion at BTME recently about the coastal erosion piece as well, and that's a real threat to a lot of the some fantastic links courses that are now really having to look at the next 20 to 25 years and losing sections of their golf course.
Yes, yeah, it's happening. Definitely involved in two of those projects, and it is reality. It's not a sort of what might happen.
And I think the water usage issue, as you rightly sort of highlight there, it's living in the UK as we do and operating golf courses in the UK, it's really quite difficult to imagine that a shortage in water might be an issue, being that we spend large periods of time coping with very wet weather and wet golf courses during the winter.
And yet the climate change models say we'll have hotter summers. When it does rain, it'll be sort of more flash storms infrequent, longer, wetter autumn, winter periods. Our part again within STRI group, our partners at EPG, the Environmental Protection Group, are experts in their fields of how we're dealing sustainably with water security. So we very much sort of lean on them, as well as our team in digital design and engineering, to make sure that there is a sort of holistic approach to how we can best provide solutions. And some of these things are short-term issues. Tom, it's important that we deliver in the short term as well as the long term, and ultimately the course delivers performance-wise, because that's important to meet the financial sustainability. And this financial sustainability will fund the bigger projects
right
on the line. So again, back to the day job, the probably 50% of my team's time out on the golf course is dealing with the turf surfaces and everything else. 50% of the rest of the time is dealing with the challenges which are coming in. Have we thought about that this worked well there, that solution didn't work in such a place over there? So it's sort of, we'll never know the course as well as the club manager, the course manager, the members, but we experience so much and have got experts in so many different fields that it's sort of right. Okay, this will be the direction you should go in. And again, it's that coming back to that thought leadership piece, and certainly that's probably our priority for supporting your members with.
No, and I think that's great, and that's absolutely on point. I think with as you rightly highlight, we've had this huge influx of new golfers and increase in participation over the last couple of years, and I think we've got a really big challenge on our hands now to actually try and predict what is likely to happen in the next few years as we come through the other side of the pandemic, and try and retain as much of that sort of new golf and increased usage as we are able to, at the same time as managing expectations of golf course quality. And as you say, Paul, with increased usage comes increased challenges of maintaining quality of playing surfaces. Combine that with a reduction in the materials and fertilizers and chemicals that are available, and trying to find sustainable solutions is a real challenge. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
if we can balance resources with the costs against the performance, we can talk about sustainability at different levels. And I've seen courses at both ends of the spectrum, some sustainability, that high input and the fantastic surfaces, but you're not going to be able to do that. The legislation and the cost will not allow you to do that, even if you're doing it now in the future. Consequently, I've seen it go too far the other way as well, where it's we're holding back on this, we're doing this, we've got fescue coming into the greens. Yes, but your greens are rubbish and the members are complaining, and there's nothing sustainable about that. The middle road, the middle ground, pointed in the direction of sustainability, is the path which will be most practical to manage your costs. And be again sort of look at that security moving forward. And yes, there are emotive subjects to deal with along the way, which will have to be communicated very well to your members. But if we can keep performance on point, then we will keep everybody engaged with the process. If you don't, the promise of tomorrow, how long is tomorrow? Will it arrive? Again, this is where it comes back to that sort of monitoring and sort of demonstrating progress, but not losing sight of what you're needing to deliver.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I think, you say tomorrow, and I think everyone is quickly coming around to the realization that sustainability is today's issue, not tomorrow's issue, and we have to start planning now.
With the costs of everything they are now, it's sort of, but as I say, there are definitely there are routes to saving costs in course budgets without compromising things, and understanding that it's breaking down bite-sized pieces of what is achievable and what are the next stages. Before sort of you invest too much with little return right at this point in time, or no return at all, and then again it leads to disappointment and frustration.
Yeah, no, sure, that's good, and some great insights. Well, listen, Paul, we're we're really looking forward to working with you, and I know our members are as well, and we've already really enjoyed having you at some of our regional meetings and listening to presentations and insights and information and support on this huge wide range of support that you're able to provide us. So just quickly, Paul, if any of our members wanted to get in touch, how are we best to get in touch with yourself or your team?
The door is very much open to the members. We want to be as accessible as possible. New website is just being developed at the moment. The best route will be to your team at GCMA headquarters. Will have all the contact details. Find STRI through the social media channels anyway, myself on Twitter and our team as well. But we'll make the contact to all our regional team available, and we're only a phone call away for sure.
That's great. Thanks, Paul. Well, listen, with all of the challenges and opportunities we've got ahead of us over the next few years, I'm sure it's going to be a really busy and productive time for the STRI, and we're really looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Tom, and I look forward to meeting your members.
Yeah, great speaking with you. Thanks now.
Bye-bye.